My name is Noah Lewis. I portray Ned Hector, one of the many black soldiers that fought in the American Revolution. Approximately 3,000 to 5,000 people of color fight for the American cause. About 7,000 to 10,000 serve the British. General Washington would be general over one of the most integrated armies all the way up until 1948, when Harry S. Truman would finally reintegrate the army for Korea. General Washington also would command at least 3 majority black regiments, one from Massachusetts, one from Rhode Island, and there would be a group that would come in from Haiti under the command of the French that would fight in the Battle of Savannah and the Battle of Charleston. And they would play an important part in this struggle for independence. Let me give you a couple for instances. Up in New York, the battle is not going well. We're losing every last engagement with the British. We're being pushed southward down through New York until finally our back's up against the river. We are trapped. The next day, the British are going to close in. They're going to annihilate this army. They're going to capture this traitor Washington. That's going to be the end of our fight for independence. I mean, done, over with once and for all. But under the cover of night and fog, under the very nose of the British warships that anchored in that harbor that night, men would row their boats up. They would load the army into the boats. They would take them across into safety. Some would make that trip as many as 11 times that night. What you don't know is that many of those men who are rowing those boats are black sailors from Marblehead, Massachusetts. That night, these men would save our army and save our revolution and allow us to continue our fight for independence. There will be another battle that's going to come down the pike, the Battle of Yorktown. Oh, before I go there, did you know that we have spies in the British camp? We have black spies in the British camp. A gentleman named James Armistead Lafayette. He would add Lafayette on in honor of the person that he's spying for. He would be working for Cornwallis. He would hear information that the British are going to Yorktown. He would smuggle it out of the camp. Washington and Lafayette would make plans to surround the British at Yorktown. But Cornwallis, he's no fool. He builds fortifications around the outskirts of the city. Why? Because he doesn't want us to bring our heavy cannons close enough to bombard the city. We have to take out 2 fortifications before we can get close enough to take the city. The first part of our attack doesn't go well. We attack, we get thrown back, attack, get thrown out. Finally, we start digging trenches towards the city. When we get close enough, Washington calls on one of his best regiments, the Rhode Island Regiment. They're sitting with their guns unloaded, bayonets fixed, and they take their position in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. The French would take out the other ones. We'd bring up our heavy cannons. We'll commence with the bombardment of the city, which eventually would lead to the surrender of the British. This is where we would win the war. By the end of the war, 10 to 25% of Washington's army would be people of color. Now, you may think, well, that's fine, but what does that mean to me? Hear what it means to you. You who are viewing this. You who are enjoying the freedoms that you're enjoying right here and right now, are enjoying them in part because a lot of black people were willing to fight and die so that you might have those freedoms. Now, please don't mistake me. Am I saying, hi, we blacks won the American Revolution all by ourselves? No, I am not. But what I am saying that without our contribution, we might not have won the war at all. What do I mean? Well, here, think about this. General Washington doesn't win many battles. Let's say we fight 10 battles. Out of 10 battles, how many do you think we win? Well, 2, 3. Now, you take away a quarter of his army. What do you think the chances of winning are now? Not too good, is it? Well, now, I don't want to have you coming away with the wrong notion. I am not saying we blacks won the American Revolution all by ourselves, because could we have won it without the Irish, the Germans, the French, the Spanish, the Polish, the Scottish, without all these different nationalities coming together? No, not at all. In fact, the man kind of comes down the pike. He gets his arms around this concept, and he comes up with a motto for our country: E pluribus unum. You know what? Even those in middle schools can figure that out. Pluribus, or plural. What does it mean? It means more than one or many. Unum, uno, one. Roughly translated, it means the many that become one. Can you think of a better description of us Americans? Think about it. The Irish, the African, the German, the French, the Spanish, the Polish, Scottish, all different type of nationalities, all different type of people combining to make one nation. One people, Americans, us. Our power has always been in our diversity. You know what? It always will be in our diversity. It's just a shame. Yes, it's just a shame that we really don't appreciate each other the way that we really should. Well, which brings me to the next point. This is why places like Fort Mifflin is made, so that you, one of the many, can come out and appreciate your history, appreciate what has made America such a great country, where you can pull so many different type of people together to form one people, us. Come out to Fort Mifflin. Come out and see and hear about the battles, hear about the courage, hear about the diversity in our army. It's good to know the history. Bring your children and have them pass the stories on. Well, I thank you. Take care. I am and always will be your most humble and obedient servant.